Guys, what's up? What's up? Oh man, guys, what is good? What is good? What is good? What is good? So let's talk, guys. You know what? You know why you're here. You're always here. You're always checking this channel out for one reason and one reason only. We know what is up, guys. We know what is up. And girls. So, and he, she's, or transsexuals for the purposes of the debate, since that's a big topic nowadays. And Donald Trump and Kamala's. This is weird, guys. This is weird. I'm going to go and throw out some predictions in this episode. Predictions probably will happen to some level because it's pretty obvious to me what's happening, but it seems for the person enjoying the clown show or the puppet show, perhaps, they're just falling right into it. And that's a shame. That's a shame. So first off, guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Cryptocurrency Theory, where we're not the biggest fan of politicians, I would say, on the channel. We just think that at the end of the day, when we actually look at politicians as a whole, it's usually just people grounding one of these politicians, and then for reality to play out always in the same way. So I would say a couple of things are going to be happening in our near future. One, I think there's going to be a real estate crash. I think there's either going to be war. There's going to be something really bad that's going to happen to bring consumer prices down, right? That's what we're all talking about because mom and pop are bleeding out. They don't have any cash. Those 401ks, those social security adjustments, the gas prices, the food prices. To be fair, mom and pop are broke. And, we're not afraid to let the world know. So, of course, it always falls back on the younger generation, just like the inflation through the Trump administration is going to fall back on the next generation. And the influx of immigration is going to flow in directly to this generation. But we're gonna just kind of talk back and forth. Feel free to come down to the channel, to the chat, and give me some direction to go on. We'll just kind of do a little bit of Q&A. So we saw the debate on Fox. I watched, I don't know, half of it. It was the same old stuff from Fox Network, guys, trying to use specific planned attacks on the opposite opponent for where the viewers are watching from. Meaning everybody watching Fox is a Republican. Just throw it out there, guys. No, I'm not a liberal, so don't think this is some kind of endorsement for Kamala Harris's campaign. It's the exact opposite, actually, if you saw the thumbnail. But you have an audience watching Fox, and of course they're sitting there cheering it on. Why it's happening, why the entire thing was just a setup, while showing that the Democrats were doing their part to make an appearance. And not saying that some of the things that both parties were saying weren't true, but at the end of the day, we got to look at the facts, guys. We got to look about what is really going on here and what has happened. I haven't heard either one of these candidates mention COVID. Don't you guys think that's a bit weird? I'm just curious. I mean, do you guys think that's a bit odd that the campaign isn't about how great we solved the biggest world crisis that's ever happened, and we're worried about immigration, guys? Immigration's happening everywhere around the world. Different periods of time when things happen in world economies, when things reach certain levels, they allow immigration to pour in to fill all the lower bracket jobs, make it look and play as if the economy is rolling. The economy hasn't been good. That's why they did this, right? So we look at the facts. We look at the Trump administration. We say, hey, all right, this administration has done something that was abnormal money printing. And look what happened to the Biden administration. They've raised, if you go back and you look at the documents, if you go back and you look at the files, because I've actually done the research on it, so that's why you're just sitting there listening because you haven't done it. Both the deficits of each presidential candidate, obviously Harris being the assistant to the current candidate, Biden, They have both increased the balance sheet tremendously. This is just a stage show for bipartisan Congress votes to push different things in a certain direction, which is always the same direction if you noticed. It's always, there is no it's bad or it's good. Really, I don't significantly. I was working at a fucking diner when Trump was president, and I'm looking at the same world, wondering if diners are hiring. Is the world that I'm currently looking at. So for each one of these candidates to say that their camps are, doing this and doing that, we had a massive money printing thing. Assets got inflated in price, aka the housing markets, the stock market, cryptocurrencies. Basically, everything you see that is for sale has gone up in price. And some of those prices, as we've seen, used cars and some of these things have tremendously came down. And housing will be next. Watch, housing will be next. Whether it's Donald Trump getting elected and we go to war, which you would think, you'd think he'd be shaking everybody's hand, and or we keep a Democrat in power and we continue elevated levels of inflation. And that's going to happen all around the world. And I would say if you look down here in Mexico at what's going on, me being international, I'll tell you, the inflation down here is just as bad. The immigration down here is just as bad. Migration is just as bad. So the funny part is actually living down here at Mexico and being somebody that crosses the border fucking, I don't know, 700 fucking, or I don't know, maybe not 7, been down here 7 months. So what would that be? 210 times. I would say if anybody is looking for ideas of what's going on, I have a pretty clear-cut idea of what is going on. Immigration is bad everywhere because they printed money in every fucking country with a central bank, pretty much. China did it a little bit differently. But pretty much the money printing happened everywhere. Down here, all the immigration is coming from south of Mexico and the Caribbean. So it's the same thing. They pump up the prices. They overvalue assets. They let immigration come in to make it seem like the economy's still doing good. Have you gone to the local car wash recently, guys? Have you gone to your local McDonald's? Have you gone to, any of these places? Like if you go into them, you'll notice that it's usually illegal immigrants that are working these jobs. It's the same thing here, guys. If you go to the same jobs that I'm telling you guys here, you'll go here and you'll see illegal non-Mexican citizens. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. This isn't a problem. This is a planned thing. This is a planned cycle. This is a planned. It's. I don't want to say it's a conspiracy because it's not a conspiracy. It's reality. This is just what is going on worldwide. So, like I said, guys, I'm living down here in Mexico, so I have firsthand experience to tell you guys that the migration crisis here is just as bad as the United States. And like I said, the people that are out doing the begging, the selling of the things on the street, selling you flowers, all these things, it is not Mexican citizens. Why? Well, for one, I've talked to Nicaraguans. I've talked to people from Africa down here. There's a lot of African influx in this region of the world, not just Mexico, in San Diego as well. So I've talked to these people. There's nothing. The thing is, guys, is we hear about all these stories about, a migrant killed this person and this, that, and the other. And I'm not trying to show any kind of lack of compassion for this. I'm just trying to point out that these are it's not like a massive amount of irregular stuff that happens from other ethnic subgroups, right? Other people from other countries compared to Americans. Like if we took the same statistics and we ran them parallel with normal crime and these type of crimes among the normal American population, it's not that much different. I would actually argue that a lot of the migrants that are coming over here, I would say the majority of them are actually filling lower bracket jobs and they don't know what the fuck's going on. They just think these are the prices. They don't sit there and wonder when they're at the grocery store on why it is they're buying chicken. They just buy chicken. So you have this group of people, they come in, they occupy the lower bracket jobs. And guys, you have to understand, these people are just simply trying to make a better life. They're not trying to come over here and fucking cause chaos. Yes, there are some people that do that. Unfortunately, that's what human beings do, guys. This is the type stuff we get. We get normal people coming over, and we get people causing chaos. And if you're one of those people that sit behind the screen saying they're taking our jobs, motherfucker, you go work your jobs. You're not going to. You're not going to. And that's the thing. You are not going to. So stop pretending that you're going to. You're not going to go to the car wash and work with them. You're not going to go to McDonald's and work with them. You're not going to do it. And yeah, if you're in middle America, and that's why the costs are so cheap, if you're in these states like Nebraska and South Dakota and Iowa and all these states, it's because, yeah, there's not as many of those people flocking to run to those places. So yeah, that's most of America. That's the heart of America. Well, that's not all of America, guys. I'm here to tell you that this is all a planned thing. This is like, we have to stop pretending like they're saying something that's going to be in line with something substantially different. Things were not good when Trump was in office. They might have been particularly good for specific people with specific tax breaks. There might have been people that benefited from being able to come into the country during a certain type of president. But this is nothing that is good. This is nothing that is fixing or remedying or actually addressing the main issue, which is fraud among the American people. This is fraud, guys. If it's not in the form of inflation, it's in the form of taxation. Taxation is the easiest tax, the easiest one to get away with, guys. They can pump the prices up. Everybody will have to pay the price. Everybody, including the new people that just got here, that have jobs compared to the stupid American that won't work, they will actually keep the economy going. That's exactly what we're seeing. So a lot of people, guys, think that for some reason, like Trump or Kamala Harris or any of these other fucking people that are doing this, they're always doing the same thing, guys. They're printing money, driving up the price. Wouldn't you love to live in a world, guys? Think about it for a second. What if you lived in a world where you actually had legitimate free markets? You were actually able to go out and participate in free markets that weren't controlled by all these political forks in the road, and just the flow of business actually competed at what it should. And let me tell you what would happen, guys. We would have innovation. We would have of a new revolution of sorts, sort of like the what was it? The birth in different art periods of the 18th century, the 17th century, the Gothic, all these different revolutions, right? Then we have the Industrial Revolution, all these big things. But guys, everything is so manipulated and controlled by these politicians and political groups and international bodies and handshakes in the back room, that it just only leads to money printing. It leads to money balance sheets that cannot be produced because they don't exist. I mean, look at just our deficit as a country. At what point do we really say we can't just keep printing money? It gets to a point where the money is gonna be viewed as worthless to people, and the only thing that's gonna drive them is panic, because they're not gonna have money to eat and or provide the basic services. So it's just going to make the world, even for people that have money, like it is, guys. And that's a pile of crap. And if you look at the majority of the world and you go out, you see a lot of sorrow. You see a lot of people, you can just tell it's not good. Go to your grocery store. That's a great place to start. You might say, well, I don't order groceries. I'm above it. I'm doing the Instacart thing. Well, okay, wait till the problems get worse. If you got people knocking on your door for fucking food, like legitimately. And, a lot of people think A lot of people think that is not a far off reality. A lot of people think that that wouldn't happen here or that couldn't happen here, but I think it could. And maybe not to the extent of people knocking on your door for food, but it could get. Obviously, crime has to go up. We're obviously going to have crime go up. The ghettos will have to return to being ghettos. You're not going to be able to go to ghettos anymore and just ride through why everybody's, you know, government check is covering the basic survival necessities to keep them alive. The prices are outweighing the people that are dependent on government. That's all that's happening. And it's becoming, and it's always happening because like that, because it happens like that. So it happens like that basically because, like I said, they've raised all the prices due to money printing. That's what's happening. That's all this is, really. It's really not hard to figure out. And like I said, I do think it's a bit weird that COVID is never a discussion between any of these candidates. Like, holy shit, it was only what 3 years ago. It was only like really like 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago that this was the biggest fucking thing that was ever hitting the world, at least in my lifetime, was COVID-19. And it's literally not even in the debates. It's not even, they're not even saying how good Trump did or how bad Trump did. And that is why I'm telling you guys that this is all planned out. They're trying to wonder why nobody's even questioning these things. And yes, there's the skeptical people that are writing like on their signs, like jail Fauci or all these things, but nobody's actually taking a proactive look to say, hey, look what's going on. All these debates, nothing is being brought up about this COVID-19 thing, which leads me down a whole nother rabbit hole. I'm not telling you, I'm not even going to go down that because people go crazy because they lost personal family members from COVID. And I do believe COVID. I just don't believe, I believe that it could have been a planned vector of attack to carry this whole thing along. So we're not going to go too much on that, guys. I don't want you guys to, get all scared on me, but we have to see what's really going on here, guys. They're not talking about COVID at all, either party. Okay, it's just fact. It's not whether or not I think COVID was dispersed among population to execute powers of control, leaving China to be the longest one to engage in that control. Really, I mean, China, fuck, dude, it's only been like what, maybe a year and a half since they've stopped COVID stuff. So again, it is not even being discussed. It would be maybe a little less disconcerting if it was discussed. Maybe, I don't know, once or twice. If you guys know where to find any info on that, please let me know because I have not seen any. I'm so amazed. Holy fuck. So my point is, guys, is not only are these people lying, okay, the whole system can't sustain. The actual system itself is not sustaining, and that's why I'm a big fan of telling you guys the truth, and that is likely we'll end up in some type of altercation with another country, which we're kind of already in this Ukraine-Russia thing. We're already kind of intertwined with that based on something that happened in 2014 with some area of Ukraine, which was, nobody talks it out. Nobody talks about that either, so it's kind of, that's a little strange in itself. And then also this COVID thing that I just mentioned. And also it just feels when we're watching these debates or we're watching these people talk, it feels to me that I'm getting bullshitted. It feels like, when you guys are watching this show, I hope you guys don't feel that way. I hope you don't feel like I'm loading your ear full of a bunch of crap. Because this is what I believe, guys. I believe that politicians in general, over the course of my lifetime, have done nothing but cause a major disservice, guys. That's why our pharmaceutical industry is the way it is. It's why innovation has been slowed to almost a complete halt on various things. The reason that if you're wondering why you're not thriving, you need to go vote for either one of these clowns and then watch reality play out. That is the advice I'm going to tell everybody watching. I know we're going to have people quit the channel. This happens every time I do a political type video. It always happens. I look and I'm like, oh, there goes a couple people. And that's fine. You guys can You guys can go and, do your thing. And I'm not against anybody who's voting. If you guys really believe that, if you guys really believe that these people are going to significantly impact your life, unless you're a billionaire or maybe a transsexual in prison, like they were talking about on this Fox episode, again geared towards Republicans. That's the people that are watching this. You go to the CNBC one, you're going to see a totally different one. You're going to see a totally different one. And everybody always picks these sides and they go, oh, we're smarter than these people, while simultaneously getting fucked as they do it. That's the funny part. They actually go and attack the other party while simultaneously signing up to be screwed. And, guys, we could circle around it all night. What are we at? 20 minutes? I haven't popped in the chat, but I know we are live. If you guys are here, hopefully Mr. Fool's here, hopefully Alan's here, hopefully Wonton and the squad's here. I haven't looked down at the phone, but I know people get offended when I do these political things, when we put the clown in the thumbnail. And if you guys have been a long time veteran on the channel, you did see the headlining wallpaper that I customized with Donald Trump, Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, Janet Yellen, and all these different people. The Fed Chairman Powell, I forget who else was in. I think that was it. Oh, Biden was in there as well. And we showcased them as these clowns, right? And guys, the reason we do that, I just want to be clear, is because at the end of the day, we have to see what is really going on. We have to wonder why they're not talking about COVID-19. Why are they acting as if a serum or a vaccine that we're able to distribute and create this herd immunity, it is not even fucking up for debate. It's not even saying anything remotely attacking either side. Why all they're doing is both parties are pretending as if they're smarter and that they know something that the other party is somehow unaware of, and or going like, oh, how do these people not understand? I can't understand why I'm voting for this person. Well, the reason you're voting for each one of these candidates is because you bought into all the places that you find this gaslighting news, right? If you're a Republican, what did you watch tonight? You watched Fox. If you were a Democrat, what did you watch? You watched CNBC. You could go down the list. You could start making all these weird type, comparisons. Like if you're a Democrat, you're sitting there with green hair and a face mask and eating fucking candy, and you're fucking 50 years old. Okay, if you're a Republican, you're fat, sitting at home, fucking, with your Bud Light, your Ford truck out front, and your cornbread in the freezer. It's you can go either side with this. It's so stupid. We have to see at the end of the day, are these politicians, are these governed people that are supposed to be in charge of the best interest of the country, are they doing their fucking job? And the answer is no, they're not. They're always simultaneously pretending to do their job while filling their pockets with handshakes in the back room. That's why you always see, guys, you always see this stuff on the news. If you start looking at local news, and you always see that the governor or the county school district superintendent is stealing money, and then the mayor is doing this, and the fucking the president's doing this. It's all, like, can we get a group of fucking people in here to just do the fucking job for us? Aren't we supposed to be the one getting the services to live in such a great country? And guys, the funniest part is, I keep telling you, I'm sitting in Mexico. It's the same fucking thing down here. So I keep telling you, there's no escaping what the governments and the politicians have done. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to watch on the channel, is that it doesn't matter who wins the presidential election. It really doesn't. The people that think it does, like I said, if they're a Republican, they're watching Fox News. If they're a Democrat, they're watching CNBC, and they're eating it up. They're actually believing this. They're actually believing that we're going to get a politician to come in here and make things great. Well, I got a bet for everybody watching the channel. I'll make a personal bet. Watch what happens when either one of these people get in office. Watch. Either way, it's going to be bad. They're going to have to bring down the cost of housing and or the cost of food and gas. And they're not going to bring down food and gas. So they're going to have to bring down housing. The housing market is going to have to crash regardless. It has to happen. The reason it has to happen, guys, is this is what always happens. This is the next part. There's the print, the money print, the asset boom, and then there is the crash in something that absorbs the boom that made all the people rich. People that have money right now, that have big bank accounts. That's not most people. That's not most people. You go to other places. You go to your local Walmart down here in Mexico, or you go to your fucking your Walmart in fucking Dingleberry, USA. It doesn't matter where you go. If you're in a certain bracket of society right now, and I'm in that bracket, by the way, just in case you guys think I'm like, oh yeah, well, who are you, big guy? Well, I'm here with you, so I don't know what you're talking about there. But what I will say is one thing with my hands here, as I'm blessing you people, is that it doesn't matter who wins this presidential election. If you're in this bracket, you're really fucked. You're like so fucked. You're actually in the ghetto, making the ghetto worse, if that makes sense. And I mean that because we have large groups of people, including new people that just got here, obviously the migrants that are making these low bracket jobs. These people are in these these ghettos or these places that have low income housing, subsidized hotels that are converted into apartments for migrants to live. I've seen these guys. I've been to them. I've seen them. I've seen them in person. They're all over San Diego, the whole fucking city. They're even in nice areas you wouldn't even think. You could go to Newport Beach, California, one of the highest places to live, more expensive. And guess what? You're gonna find government housing. I know somebody that used to live in it. Can you believe that? Holy shit. Guy, he lived in it. He'd been there for like fucking 18 years. So my point is, what happens in these cycles of economy is you not only have this group of people that are in this bracket I just mentioned, but you also have the fallout. And like I said, I'm in that group. So we have the fallout that happens to people when they go scrambling. And it's not going to be good for people that are not in this bracket, that are thinking it's going to be great for them. Even if they have a lot of money, their lives will be interfered directly by this large group of people. Because the lower end of the bracket is the majority, right? That is the majority of people. The upper bracket is not this giant group of people. It's just a giant group of people to drive this whole thing along. So we always, on this channel at least on cryptocurrency theory, we're always telling you of what could be. We're always just trying to do that. Don't take every conspiracy as a conspiracy theory. I was watching something the other day. I was watching one of these channels I watch. I think it's Real Estate Mindset. Yeah, it is Real Estate Mindset. It's a channel that they were talking about how weather modification could be affecting our global, our global rhythm, right? In terms of like our natural weather patterns and things like that. And we're not going to go down too many rabbit holes, guys. I want to keep it towards the two jokers in the thumbnail. But I don't know what you guys think about this. I haven't looked at the chat. I haven't seen anybody here. But I don't know what you guys think about this. Are you guys really believing that a politician is here to save you or to rescue the country from a cycle that's already planned? The country will appear to be rescued when it is that time in the cycle, not when somebody gets elected or when everybody feels a certain way. Prices will determine that. Once we get enough price stability in the general economy and people feel like they are getting ahead a little bit, that'll be when we see the stabilization of the great hero that you guys are all looking for. It's only part. It's only in part of who you're looking at. Really, the whole thing behind that, guys, is simultaneously planned after they've done what they've done. I keep talking about that. We always circle back around to it. That there is somebody or some group. Some people call it Illuminati, some people call it, whatever they call it, but they're they're going to run the planet into the ground. They're going to, I don't know. Like I said, I was watching this channel earlier where they were talking about these things of like HARP, where HARP up in Alaska, the high frequency thing that you guys you probably know about it. I mean, being watching this channel, but I learned about it probably over 10 years ago. You always go down these conspiracies, and it's like you find truth in some of these things that people are talking about, like we're talking about here on the channel. You actually think about it, and you're like, holy shit, this shit doesn't look like it could be that far off. And obviously, it's a story. These are stories, guys. These are obviously narratives that we're doing on this channel to entertain you. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like we're too far off. It doesn't seem like we're too far off from these politicians making it to the point where it feels like we're the ones that are in deep, deep trouble, in deep, deep trouble, and that we need things to change because we're not changing anything. And that's kind of where the argument ends. It's just kind of a cycle in time that we're in, and we'll come out of it, at some point. There'll be war, there'll be something of worse magnitude that'll take attention and direct attention away from this topic of everything being bad. But in the meantime, being in it's a lot different than looking back at it, right? We always back at it and we're like, oh, that was so bad. But I would bet you that the reason they're not talking about COVID is because if a lot of people look back, they actually look back and they're like, wow, I really enjoyed COVID. You might say, well, what the fuck, dude? What's wrong with you? Well, I've actually heard people say that, guys. I've actually had people that I worked with say that. I actually remember, I'm going to tell you one story that I'm not going to tell you who it was, but they actually said, yeah, I kind of enjoyed COVID because back when it happened, I had enough money to kind of sit down with my family and, I started doing little things. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along those lines. And I was thinking in my head, like, holy shit, these people liked the fact that they were getting free money. They liked the fact that they were able to stay at home and, do activities that, who wouldn't like to do that? I'm not saying this is bad, but I'm saying this is the reason they're not talking about it. This is the reason they're not bringing up how great the Trump administration did, driving up all these prices around us with all this money printing that their administration did. Nobody's really talking about that. Nobody's talking about the increased balance sheet and deficit that the United States government has now that Biden is in charge. If you look at the Biden administration and the Trump administration, if you look at the deficit growth, you should go look at it, guys. You should go look at it. It's not, it's almost the same. It's not really, they just adjusted it in different areas. It's not really any different. The people that think it's, they're way far off or they're not in line with what we're talking about here on the channel and they want to, say, oh, well, this is this and this is why, and I'm sticking to it. I'm right. You might want to take a step out of yourself and just ask yourself why you're believing that. Why are you believing that? Because that's just what you believe. Have you really done the research on it? Have you really gone through and actually looked at these certain things that I'm bringing up in discussion right now? Have you looked at these balance numbers and balance sheet numbers? Have you looked at these debates? Have you looked at what's going on with our prices in terms of inflation rate growth and asset growth prices? I think that if you guys are on, the Kamala Harris side or the Donald Trump side, I don't think that you guys have looked at this stuff. Because if you really looked at it, you like actually really genuinely looked at it, like you felt like you went back to your best performing days of whatever grade you last completed, then you might be able to honestly say one of these people is in line with exactly what it is you're talking about. But a lot of times, guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. When I see Democrats, they think that they are smarter. They actually express themselves like this. So just hear me out. And I know a lot of Democrats, guys. I live out in California, basically, even though I'm in Mexico. Basically in California, too. So I've seen a lot. I've worked with a ton. So fucking many. I probably worked with more liberals in my line of work, being in the type of work that I'm at, real estate now, the restaurant industry before, I have seen more liberals than you could even think of. And I've seen more Republicans than you could even think of because I grew up on the East Coast, grew up in Georgia. So my point is, you have these groups of people, and let me get back to what I was saying. The Democrats, they think they're well versed and they've done more studying, and these people on the Republican side just don't understand what's going on. Did I get that right, guys? If you're a Democrat back there, if you're going to vote for Harris, did I get that right? Is that kind of what you think? And if you're a Republican, you're thinking the problem is immigration and the fact that everything's bad. Did I get that right? Did I get that right for every Republican out there? So when you step out of both of these camps, and that's what we do here on the channel, we step out of our own self. I even step out of myself sometimes. I'm actually over in the corner looking at myself talk, and I'm going, holy shit, this dude's got a point. We actually take our step out of ourselves. We say, what the fuck is really going on? Why are prices so high? Because the Donald Trump administration printed a bunch of money. Well, why was that? It was because of COVID. Okay, where are we at now with this stuff? Well, Kamala Harris really isn't addressing what Donald Trump did so bad about COVID during his administration. So did he do a good job? Did he do a bad job? I'll leave that up to you guys. But I will say that they're not talking about it. And what is Trump doing? He's now going to Bitcoin conferences. So again, I mean, I could talk about this all night. I can do politics all the time because I'm not afraid to speak my mind on it. I think politicians in general are just, they're not, they should find another job. They should find another job. I don't know if it's just a power trip thing. I mean, I wouldn't consider being a politician even for, for me being the little worm I am, guys. I can just vacate and just, go away. I can go to a place, whether it's in the United States, and just kind of navigate my way through it, knowing that that's indeed what's going on. So, I don't think I'd be a politician. You might be like, well, then don't talk about it. Kamala's the best, or Donald Trump for president, or any of these mottos you see. But I will just say, guys, that I've never felt in my life at all, even when people are trying to convince me so passionately about it, I sit there and I'm polite. I'll kind of boost them along in whatever they're talking about. And guys, I've done this so many times. I've had people that are like voting for Trump, and I'm just like, yeah, like kind of just giving them what they need to hear so they can confirm to me what I need to know. And I've done this with people at work. Like I said, I work in the restaurant industry. I would say it's probably 75%, Democrat. So what would I do there? I would jump into Johnny's conversation and talk about how smart he was, right? So it's the same thing, guys. It's the same fucking thing. So once you step out of it and you say, all right, what are these groups really doing? Okay, like what is really going on? Why is it that we're in this position? With these prices like this migration immigrant problem, or whatever they're talking about. Again, I'm in Mexico, guys, and the migration here, like I said earlier in the video, or in the stream, if you're just tuning in, the migration crisis is a worldwide planned thing. Holy shit, it's planned. All right, let's pop in the chat, guys. I'm getting a little bored here. We're not bored, just repetitive. I feel like we're kind of going back to the same stuff. So if that's going to be it, we'll wrap it up. But it's just these politicians, man. They try to play. They play us to continue the game, and the reason that's not good for us. And I actually, guys, I'm in the bottom bracket. I'm not outside the bottom bracket yet. And if certain things were in place, yes, I would actually try to be a little more involved in changing stuff. But you got to understand, guys, I'm a small fish here. And, the conversation on the channel is probably all we're going to get. So, I try to bring this stuff to light. I try to get you guys into it. And hold on here, guys. Have we literally not been live this entire time? Because that's gonna be crazy. Let me see. Holy shit. Okay, we are live. Okay. Fuck. So, Dietary Car, what's good? Mr. Fool and Traps. Well, I'm expecting more people to come down, but I'm always overly optimistic on how many people are going to come down. Always just. All right, so Dietary Car. Let's answer some chat, guys, because obviously, it is what it is. We've covered the topics, and it's good people come down to the chat. But if I reach down to the chat, there was a bunch of people in there that are like, I was hoping we would get. I'm going to tell you what I was hoping we'd get. I was hoping we'd get people being argumentative about specific topics in their camp, and we could just crush them about it. What I mean crush them is give them logical reasoning on why we can obviously tell that they're being like the stereotypical Republican or the stereotypical Democrat. That was my hope in the live stream, and that's why I was kind of savoring it till the end to come into the live stream to see if we had anybody, come in to try to, start talking. Thank you for doing what you do, your voice in the darkness. Thanks, my dude, or my Dietary Car. Thank you. Is Bitcoin the solution to this Turkish show with BSV? Here, we need to talk about crypto too. So we're going to talk about BSV. We're going to talk about Bitcoin Cash before we get off here, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin. And before you get mad that I mentioned both of them, stick around. Mr. Fool, what's good? What's good? We have a new government, digital commodity, BSV, to the rescue. The money printer is always. You're exactly right. Got tons of mill syrup to sell. So it's all a distraction. Yeah, it's all a distraction. And we're going to go back to, I guess we'll not wrap up the show, come into the closing arguments, because I do want to get off here. It's been a while. It's almost coming out on 45 minutes. So my point is let's circle back around to Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Cash. I know Bitcoin SV people have been reaching out here recently, and I know Bitcoin Cash people have been watching the price recently, and BSV people as well have been watching the price of BSV. Because the price has gone up a little bit, we've seen a little bit of influx action, especially on Bitcoin Cash Grayscale. I told you that if we saw the recovery, we'd see Grayscale rapidly increase to Bitcoin Cash price in terms of the premiums in play. That's exactly what's happening. So BSV obviously too. So here's the thing, guys, with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV. We need to reach some resolution tonight on this. I don't care if you guys have Bitcoin Cash. I don't care if you guys have Bitcoin SV. I don't say that in a cynical, pessimistic way. I say that because I simply don't care. I think what we should be doing with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV is trying to get these communities back to the focus, which I think both communities super focused on the specific topics that we should get back to focusing on. But I feel like when crypto goes up and we see significant price rallies in the coins that we're talking about, which I keep telling you, BSV is going to be, like an overnight moonshot coin. Bitcoin Cash is going to definitely be a moonshot coin, but it's going to, I think, take a different route. But who knows? Maybe, and I'm not talking about the gains, guys. The gains are going to be similar in both of these coins. I think BSV and Bitcoin Cash are both going to increase in price drastically in terms of percentage gains. But what I mean by like the way they move, I think Bitcoin SV is going to move with, like let's just say it like this. If Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV go up 2,000% around there, or like between give or take 100, a couple 100%, which is crazy, but let's say Bitcoin Cash goes up to 2,200%, Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin SV goes up to 1,900%, 19x. So I think the Bitcoin Cash trajectory there'll be big jumps. Right? It'll go up fast. It'll go up, and it's actually been going up faster than BSV here recently. But Bitcoin Cash seems to move a little bit different than BSV. BSV seems to, when it moves, it seems to just go straight up based on the fact that I don't think it's on a lot of exchanges. A lot of people don't know where to buy it. They don't know where to hold it. They don't know where to get it, these type of things. So when those prices start jumping, it just shoots the price directly up. But I still think that they're going to kind of end up kind of in the same percentage gains, just because I know they're going to both gain traction. Bitcoin Cash has gained a significant amount of traction. South Korea, some of these Asian crypto exchanges are going to try to find something that they can get their hands on, and they can get their hands on BSV. Obviously, they can spend it, they can start using it and seeing the vision. And basically, guys, that's going to cause price influx in both the coins. All right. And, here recently, it's been kind of funny because we saw Litecoin jump up a little bit. We've seen, just general positive crypto stuff. Yeah, see, Mr. Full, 9/11, yeah, exactly. 9/11 billion lawsuit. Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that. Good call. 911 billion lawsuit. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I didn't notice that from the lawsuit on the numbers. Good call down there. So yeah, I think that'll wrap it up, guys. I'm gonna, just kind of conclude it. I don't want to go too much crypto because we were watching the prices right now. We don't really know if the prices are gonna continue and sustain. Hopefully they will, but it's good now and again to throw some politics stuff just to let everybody know kind of like where I'm at with politics. I just want everybody to know I'm not a big fan of politicians. I don't think they tend to be in line with what is best, because we don't ever see that it being the best actually play out. We see all this bullshit stuff that looks like secret profiting, and it sucks because we actually like to see stuff improve. We'd actually like to see, not only prices improve, but not the stage show to have them improve. We don't want to see things have to get better. We just want to see things good. So, all right, guys, I'll take off. I'll talk to you later. Take care.